Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we are back again with another this time it's the first war video on the new map ever. I ended up doing path 6 in tier 1 and path 2 in tier 2, and I'll be absolutely honest, I didn't have like that much time to kind of like fully go through the entire map because I had a quite busy day and I was working the day after. So I just kind of like brought in Quake team with Goldpool and Nick Fury, and I'm actually also using Goldpool here initially, but the point is to say that yes, I didn't actually kind of like go through all the nodes and node combinations. I will try to kind of like do a more in-depth video either today or tomorrow about the new Alliance War map and more problematic nodes, and also check out some feedback from other people, what has been reported to be kind of like the problem areas in this new map. And also definitely worth mentioning that there seem to be a lot of bugs first and foremost in this map, which is definitely extremely frustrating, and also a lot of very cheeky interactions, I'd say. And we're gonna actually be able to see one really annoying interaction that I happened to discover firsthand. But anyway, so the first fight is against Ghost Rider, and the opponents have defensive tactic flow. So this node had Strike Back and Aggression Fury. So I don't want to be throwing my special attacks, and at the same time I need to kind of like keep an eye on his Fury count, and I obviously need to always keep that flow in check. So it actually is quite a slow pace, frustrating fight where you drop like 3 hits and then always try to get that parry and bait out opponents special and so on and so forth. So yeah, flow is just such an annoying node. Even Ghost Rider can be annoying on relatively simple node combination just because of flow. And yeah, it's just not fun, and I'm definitely not looking forward to facing Stubborn. Anyways, here is the node, that unlimited power thing. Basically, for every debuff that Nick Fury has had placed on him, he gains Fury buffs. And then if by any chance those Fury buffs are nullified or purified, he's going to gain 15% of like bar of power. So in this case, for instance, Nick Fury has Suicide Mastery active, which typically is a great thing that everybody is happy about. Obviously, opponents kill themselves, but it also means that no matter what I do, he was guaranteed to get at least 2 of these Fury buffs every single time the timer expires. Right, so with 2 of these Fury buffs minimum, in this case, like the timer is going to expire about 2 or maybe 3 times. And keep in mind, he's also going to be a target for a Stubborn defensive tactic. Right, so that's going to make the fight a whole lot trickier and a whole lot harder. And here we can see that immediately, as soon as you kind of finish Nick Fury's first life, he purifies all debuffs and buffs on him, and that includes those Fury buffs from the node, and he immediately gets to level 3. So, for instance, this is just one of those things, because, well, I can put my hands up in the air that I didn't see this happening. I didn't kind of like pay too much attention and didn't think it through, but all of a sudden a wild level 3 appears, and it's automatically quite evident that it's going to be very hard to escape this fight without using indestructible level 3 boost every single time you happen to face Nick Fury with that unlimited power node. So you have to either do the entire fight without debuffing him once, or if he has suicides, even that won't help. Or yeah, it's just gonna be a crazy node combination. So that was my first kind of like super exciting surprise coming from this new Alliance War map. So yeah, obviously I ended up eating that level 3 with my gold pool. I brought in Nick Fury to finish off the fight, and now the second fight here is gonna be Mr. Sinister, but I'm not like worried about this guy at all, to be fair. Like, I'm just gonna Quake him, and that's gonna be my strategy for second half of the war, up until obviously the Mojo boss, because we are going to have some Mojo boss action, so stay tuned for that. There will be, however, a few Quake fights till then, so if you do not like watching Quake, then well, be ready, I guess. Also to say that I do realize that using Quake will become significantly harder in the Stubborn era that's upon us. So this is also going to be pretty much kind of like a goodbye Quake video series, I guess, because while Stubborn is not active still, I'll probably try and use her a bit just to kind of like make it a bit easier for myself in off season, not to rely on using items and such. So again, we have Mysterio. He has like tunnel vision and a whole other bunch of annoying things, and aggression prowess node. So I'm just gonna quake him. Like, why wouldn't I? Like, because tunnel vision gains me a willpower heal, so it's perfect. Additionally, obviously, I don't care how many prowess charges this guy has if he can't throw special attacks, and if he can't throw special attacks, he's much easier to deal with, and everything else kind of like becomes irrelevant. So it's a very, very simple fight for Quake specifically here, and until such time as Stubborn obviously comes in play, because whilst we're gonna have Stubborn, it's gonna be quite a bit harder. But whilst these Quake fights are happening, do let me know, guys, what has been your experience thus far with the new Alliance War map. As I said before, I will be trying to make a more comprehensive video about some of the most quote-unquote fun and interactive nodes and champion placements that we have seen so far. I definitely believe that there has been a lot of feedback already given to Kabam by players on the forum, by CCP members. I saw Cam drop a post with the most problematic kind of like nodes and node combinations and champion placements obviously on specific nodes. So I'm going to try and cover that, and I'm just going to speak a bit more about Alliance War Change in general. But here, this fight in particular, as you can see, is almost over. He has 40 prowess charges, so I assume under these conditions he would be able to drop a massive special attack, but it's a good thing we'll never gonna be able to see that. But yeah, so and then that was like the last fight of my day one. I went to bed, woke up next morning, headed to my tier 2 path, and realistically I only have like the one fight here, but I'm also gonna end up doing that Ebony Maul linked, because I didn't really want to wait, and the incoming link actually didn't give him any more like attack and health, so there was no real reason not to do it. I think I'm gonna make a mistake in one of these fights where I'm gonna get hit in the face. Now this is one of those new nodes as well, where you basically have to use up all your combos in a certain way, where you need to land 4 medium hits, 5 light hits, and 2 heavy attacks, and then you can reset all of them. But yeah, I don't think this is gonna be the most problematic node, but then again, I can see some certain placements where it could be tricky to land all of the hits required from you. But again, in this case, whilst I still have the chance, and since it's off season and nobody wants to use any items in off season, myself included obviously, I just brought in Quake with Gold Pool and the Fury synergy, so that kind of like heals me up in between fights. And I knew that I'm going to be able to reach the boss, or at least the mini bosses, without needing to use any item. So here I checked what links that Ebony Maw has active on him, and I was like, yeah, you know what, let's just deal with this Ebony Maw, so then I don't really have to worry about war up until the end of the day, because as I mentioned, large reason of why I brought in Quake in the first place and why I didn't really have all that much time to kind of like pay attention would have been the fact that I was working and I had like a super busy day at work, and yesterday in general in afternoon also turned out to be a really busy news day for Marvel Concert Champions. But yeah, obviously Ebony Maw and Quake go really well together, as in Quake absolutely shreds that Squidward looking guy. And yeah, we can see that basically 2 sets of aftershocks and the fight is over. And this was kind of like meant to be my finish for this bit of the war. And then not too long before the war ended, I noticed that all of the mini bosses are down and the boss is halfway down as well. And I figured I might as well just go and have a swing at the Mojo boss. Now obviously he does have flow active, so I need to keep that in mind. He's going to be gaining a whole bunch of power. But in off-season wars, I actually really like using Nick Fury against Mojo. Like, I realistically do not expect to solo the guy, but the fact that Nick Fury has double life, so he can eat at least 1 level 3, plus after you eat the first level 3, you're going to be dealing a whole lot of damage very, very quickly to this guy, and that in itself means you are able to chip down a huge amount of health from the boss, basically. Extremely simple. And in a situation where your death count doesn't really matter all that much, it's kind of like perfect. So here we can see that he's pretty much melting away. Now unfortunately he's obviously at another level 3, but I'm gonna drop my level 2, which is gonna bleed him out really well. Now he does kill me at 4%, and that will lead us to taking Quake in to finish the job. And yeah, because why not? Apparently Quake can do AW final bosses. But yeah, as this video is coming to an end, do let me know what do you think about the new map. Are you excited to have Stubborn on this new map as well as an additional defensive tactic? What are the best strategies you have found so far? And all that other good stuff. Also, obviously, do like, subscribe, share the video with your alliance mates, and I'll catch you guys soon. See ya!